Fire Force Online's biggest problems. So the game has been out for a few days now, but me personally, I've been fortunate enough to get to play the game for almost 2 weeks now. And in that 2-week time period, the game has actually improved a lot. But despite the improvements that were made, the game still definitely does have a lot of issues, I'm not gonna lie here. So I asked you guys what your personal problems were with Fire Force Online right now, and I also want to go over some of my own problems with it. If you want to participate in this next time, just make sure to subscribe, but let's get straight into it. I stream on Twitch daily.
God did.
So this comment addresses multiple problems, and I'm still confused on how these problems are not fixed. The first problem he talks about is the quest outside of the white clad base, which you essentially have to kill like 12 infernals in like 2 different waves with 500 seconds by yourself. It doesn't scale off how many people are in your party. You literally have to kill like 12 by yourself. And even if you piece up every infernal as fast as possible, if you're doing this quest by yourself, it's impossible. If you're doing it with 2 people, it might be possible, but if you're doing it with like 3 or 4, I'm pretty sure you could do it. But that's stupid. Why do you have a quest that you can only do with 3 or 4 people? And what makes this quest even worse is the fact that the infernals will literally jump you, which is another issue that is also brought up in this comment. And I'm not a dev, so maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't understand why they jump you when they can make normal NPCs in this game. There literally are normal NPCs that will let you get the respect of a 1v1 and back away, but the infernals will not, and they're the real NPCs that need to give you the respect of a 1v1, because you really can't 2v1 infernals. And you might be thinking, why am I making such a big deal out of one quest? Well, the problem with this quest is it really ruins the whole gameplay loop, because in this game you're usually spamming phone quests, and what will happen is you'll get this quest and you either have to rejoin the game, leave and then rejoin, and you waste like 30 seconds of time, or sit there for 500 seconds of time, or just fight them for no reason because you're not beating that quest. And constantly having to leave and rejoin does get really annoying. To be fair, you do still get some XP from the infernals if you decide to do the quest, but regardless, this definitely needs to be fixed. I don't know if they meant to actually have it scale off how many people are in your party and it's broken, but regardless, I completely agree with this comment here. This next comment might be the most obvious comment I'm gonna go over, and that's the fact that mobile has no UI and really can't even play the game. They can only walk and punch. The comment also does mention that they used to have a UI. I'm not sure how true this is, because when I did test the game before release on mobile, there was also no UI, so I don't know exactly what he's talking about there. But what I will say is even adding a mediocre UI that's not optimized is way better than having none. And I think in general the devs are just vastly underrating how many people are on mobile. I'm sure even people that are watching this video are on mobile. Matter of fact, if you are on mobile, let them know in the comments. The next comment I want to look at is something I actually disagree with, which maybe you weren't expecting. This comment says the combat feels subpar to other Roblox anime games as of recently, and also that the graphics are meh and feel like they're from 2009. And don't get me wrong, the graphics part is mostly true. The graphics aren't anything crazy, but 2009 is crazy, but he was obviously exaggerating. But in my opinion, the combat is actually a lot better than almost every game we've gotten recently. What I will say is the combat did grow on me. When I first initially played this game, I didn't like the combat, but as of recently, I've really started to enjoy it. And thinking about anime Roblox games that have better combat than it, the only games I can really think of is what? Type Soul, and some of you guys might not even agree with that. I don't think Arcane Odyssey has better PvP than it. I don't think Voxel Blade, a game with no PvP, has better PvP than it. I don't think Project Mugetsu has better PvP than it. It's just really not a lot of games that I think are better than it in terms of just PvP. Now, I'm not saying it's a better game than those games, but just strictly in terms of PvP and combat, I definitely think it's up there. But if you guys do disagree with this, I definitely understand, because I wasn't feeling the combat at first either. The next comment I want to look at talks about the overall amount of bugs in the game and the overall lack of content in the game. And for the amount of bugs in this game, it used to be a lot worse, but to be honest, for me right now, it really doesn't feel that buggy at all. But for the lack of content, that definitely is a problem. And there's really a lack of endgame content, which is why the PvP is really gonna have to carry this game's endgame. And the fact that there's such a lack of content in this game is why it takes so long to progress in the game, because once you finish your progression, you're probably gonna be pretty much done with the game unless you're gonna PvP or make a separate build. It would be very unlikely that they lower their progression speed, because obviously if they did that, it would affect the game's longevity and their bag. So to be honest, I really think we just need to hope for good updates. The next thing I want to talk about is my own personal problem, and that's the press of death system. Maybe it's like this because it's in the anime, I honestly don't know, but the fact that I have to sit there and let myself die to get a 0.1% chance at unlocking press of death is stupid. I personally already don't like RNG systems, but the fact that I'm encouraged to let myself die is dumb. Everything else in this game goes against against dying. So the fact that there's one specific huge power up that you really need to get and it revolves around letting yourself die is such a bad mechanic. I'm sorry. Now I hope I'm not coming across as a Fire Force Online hater, because I'm actually one of the biggest advocates for the game. I was definitely one of the first people to make an actual positive video about the game. But overall, I think the game has a good base, but definitely has a lot of things that can be changed, and if they do some good future updates, the game actually has potential to have a long lifespan. Either way, if this is your second or third time watching one of my videos, I'd appreciate if y'all would subscribe or like the video, because it helps the algorithm a lot, and if y'all enjoy my content, that's really a good way to support it. I'll probably be live on Twitch as well, but thank y'all for watching this far. Thank y'all, love y'all, later.
Life. There's Roblox.